So please be patient with us because we got to run them down from the top floor of the tower. We're trying to get them down there as often as we can. Sometimes they wait until they get like 2 to 4 of them done and do them in batches. By the way, have you had a chance to look at the broken at FL2K lately?
Well, right now with all these people, the service has, well, been less than desirable, we'll say. But I'm trying to check that. I was, as a matter of fact, just right now. And I even took a few pictures that I was trying to post that I couldn't post of broken stuff just to start the hashtag. So I have a $100 Summit Racing Equipment award certificate up here in the tower from Bradenton Motorsports Park. And I'm going to give that to whoever has the most carnage throughout the weekend that takes a picture. We might give it away tomorrow. It might turn into a Sunday deal. But the most carnage throughout the weekend that takes a picture of that and posts it on Facebook and Instagram with hashtag Broken at FL2K, hashtag RaceBC, and hashtag FL2K23. And we got a rumble in the distance. What does that mean, Derek?
That means we got cars coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of you out there in the grandstands, thank you so much for being patient. Obviously, Mother Nature showing that she is still in full control, but we have persevered. The BMP crew gets everything back to perfect condition. Wade and Sean and the crew down there getting everything all shiny. That means we got real good track prep. And here's the good part. The rain and the cloud cover are bringing down track temperatures. That means all these people that are ready to make a hit, here's a good chance we might see some hooking and booking, and we might see some brand new personal bests as we bring our first two up, import versus domestic.
Import in the left lane, Russell Guys out of Boynton Beach, Florida, the 93 Ford Mustang, the fastback. Your number 37 qualifier right now, 8:54 is how fast he's been at 142. Ryan Overcash in the right lane, number 53 at just 9:14. So about a half a second behind, but anything could change right now. Keep your eyeballs on that little Treadstone hot rod in the right lane. I believe he's going to try to better that number 53 spot right here. He wants to be in the top half of that bottom field if that's where he's shooting to be. That number 53, obviously in the bottom half, not going to get him lane choice.
So real quick, what Cliff is talking about, we've seen a lot of people that are trying to find where their spot can be. You don't want to qualify too fast, but the problem is now going into the 4th and 5th qualifying sessions, you got to be in it to win it.
Tree comes down. Looks like Guys is out, and problems for Ray Overcash in the right lane. Not going to get what he needed. Going to stay in that 53 spot. No. And left lane goes 8:18, and he was on a heater, so Guys moving up there.
Yeah, that's a big step off the pedal. 5:15 at 137 in the 8th mile. 135 miles an hour in the back half, actually slower than the 8th mile an hour. That should have been about 165, 170 mile an hour blast. Russell could have possibly worked his way into the top 16. That could have been a 7-second hit, but look where he ended up, number 20. Perfect. He's at the top of the second field. Now, again, we still got one full session to go after this one, so those things can still get shuffled up like a deck of cards. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. This is the good part. You and I get to sit here and talk about it while we bring up our next two.
Yes, sir. We're out here playing chess, not checkers, and that brings up Andrew Alea in the left lane out of Coral Springs, the 22 Ford. These things run like a snotty nose. You can put a big blower on them, big turbo on them, and them coyotes get wily. A little bit of suspension, and you've got a 9-second truck. Right lane, Sandor Ruiz, your number 25 qualifier, 8:22 with a 3, and he's in the show, like I said, at 25.
This truck, a brand new entry, must have gotten teched in today. I believe they were also running the 950 class, so want to see if they can get on the sheet. In order to qualify, got to go quicker than 953 with a 4. That Mustang going to get it done.
And left side not going to do anything. 1180 at 119. And the little hot rod in the right lane, Sandor Ruiz, 864, so not faster than his last pass, and going to stay where he is at that number 25 spot.
Don't get me wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with an 1180 at 119 out of the big old pick-em-up truck, but that is not going to get you anywhere close. You're about 2 seconds and some change off of that bump spot, and I guarantee you also that bump spot is going to move because we have seen some cars in the heat before Mother Nature exercised her dominance where we had a lot of people spinning, and they're not even in the field yet. So like I said, that 5th qualifier, we're starting to see some of the people finally say, all right, I got to turn the wick up. I got to get myself in a good position because some of the cars that are in the bottom 50s, upper 60s, we only take 64 cars. It's not going to be too uncommon to see some people that are in the bottom 50s, upper 60s that are going to get bumped out. So then they're going to come back to the final session. They only got one shot to get in. And what happens if they spin there or they don't make a good run? They could be on the outside looking in.
Yep. And the track conditions becoming more favorable as it gets cooler out there. Things are getting better, and you're going to start to see this tighten up just like the track is.
A couple of nice looking S550 Mustangs, what they call Orange Fury on that 2020 model, the Boynton Beach, Florida-based one for Bradley Campney. And Chad Aquino out of Oviedo, Florida, that's just outside of the Orlando area. He is qualified number 9. So the quick car on the right-hand side, left side is not even qualified yet. So we'll see how they do. Tree drops and off we go. Left-hand side, moving off the start line, but kind of slow right-hand side. Got that pony galloping towards the finish line, and he lights the board for 777's Las Vegas ready. 777 with an 8 at 179, improving on the 784. It might move him up from number 9. 1034 133. Sorry, sir, no good. That will not move you up. Chad moves up to number 8. He is on the middle of the top half of the field. He is in the top 16, and that is a hope you brought enough. Better let him go. First to the finish line wins, no breakout. So our next pair sitting in the water box. Very interesting car over on the right-hand side, Madman.
Over there, little Miata, and I just got told anybody that, well, I won't say it. Little Miata over there in the right lane, Mason Messina out of Naples, Florida. The 90 model Miata. I owned 13 of these at one time. At one time, I owned 9 hardtops and 13 Miatas. Yeah, I was a spec Miata guy. You know.
Okay, you're baiting me to ask the question.
Yeah, I raced them, spec Miata, so we had a couple of street cars, a couple of race cars, and a bunch of hard tops. This little thing got a big, or not a big block, but a big V8 under the hood. We had 1.8 liters, and this guy got about, what, 6 liters? Yeah.
Yeah, usually when you come to the racetrack, especially a streetcar event, as you and I have talked about, Mr. Matt Lanfear is normally the one that we see.
Yeah.
I believe there are 3 Miatas here total, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
I know of at least 2.
Yep, and Matt, like you said, he is the 850 slayer. I mean, he has won so many drag and drives in that 850 index. He bumps it up, 3 of them, bumps it up to come run races like this. He finally got all the stuff that he needs to go faster, so now he goes faster. And it's always cool to see that car turned up running bottom 8s at these shows. And Charles Sidot, the left lane, the S550 Mustang down there. You can swing through the dealership, get one, credit card it to death, and this could be you.
Yeah, nice little stealth gray hot rod. Wouldn't even be able to look at this thing without the wheels and the parachute on it and think 796 out of that hot rod. So the quicker car left side, the car in the 9s over on the right side. Obviously, he'd like to be able to pick it up, and the launch makes it look like he could do it. 132, 60 foot. Sido's going to come around him. Man's going to tell you how to do it at the top end.
On the brakes, left lane, he didn't want to go too fast. Goes 8, 12, and 137. Already been 796, but he's in the bottom half of that top field. So should have bumped it up just a little bit more. He could have went as fast as number 1 and got on the top. Yeah, the little Mazda picked up a full second. The lightweight hot rod with the big bad Chevrolet power under the hood goes 836 and picks up a second and moves to 32.
Now, if he stays in the number 32 spot, the problem with that is it means he's on the bottom half of a field that's about 2.5 tenths apart. I mean, it's still a good, it's not a bad spot, but he doesn't want to be in number 32. He wants to be in number 33. He would like to be at the top of a field. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out. Here comes your next 2. We got GTR on one side. We got the Honda S2000 with the single turbo LS over on the opposite side. This is Richard Flint over on the left-hand side. This guy also a multi-time Hot Rod Drag Week winner. This car also as an 850 normally set up car, but now he's got the full funny car cage in it. So this thing is full 7-second ready. He's gone 820 at just 158, so probably still got some ponies left to unleash, but he wants to stay in that second field. He's number 22 spot. The GTR over on the right side, Kevin Stowe, we saw him rip it up in the roll racing. He's not even qualified here yet. Why is that?
Boy, I don't know. He won money with us last year, and this year having a hard time with it. 3 bulbs lit. Flint bumps in. Bang, there's the light, and Flint out. He says, well, tell him you're coming, Kevin. And here comes Kevin looking to chase him down, but not making up much ground, not going to make up enough. 831 in the left lane for Richard Flint, 922 in the right lane, and that gets him in the show. 953 was your bump. That bump obviously going to change now.
It's going to change by 1 thousandth of a second. It's going to go to It's going to go from 9:53.4 to 9:53.3. Yep. Jill Hicks is now on the bump. The car, the 2017-2018 Camaro, because we talked about it, the last two spots, only a foul separation. Yep. So, but that's what's going to happen. We're going to see some people on the outside looking in. I mean, I keep saying it, sound like a broken record player, but it really is what's going to happen, Madman. I mean, we've got all these cars now starting to get their backs against the walls like we just saw with Kevin Stowe. He had no room to get in and play, so that's after 3 sessions. It's not that he wasn't here, he was roll racing, but he hadn't made a good pass. Well, there he made a decent pass. I still think he wants something in the 8 so he can play a little better. Beautiful 1970s Chevelle coming up, gets the second car out of Treadstone. This is a 240 with the imports still on board. Chris Weingartner and Salvatore Malaya over on the Chevelle side, and they're off.
And the right lane, neat, looking to better that 782. He's at number 9 right now. Looks like he's slow rolling down there on the big. Ain't going to play it safe. Goes 962 at 97 miles an hour. Saves some parts, and left lane goes 1021. Still not in the show in that beautiful Chevelle.
Man, that thing had a whole lot of body roll. He needs an anti-roll bar in the worst way. Hey, dial up one of our sponsors and say, dude, we need to get that body roll under control.
Yeah, go see Perez Jr. down there. He can put it in, make it, put it in, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's one of those things the factory four-link cars, especially classic muscle cars from the 60s and 70s have, is they rotate like that because the torque makes the car go to the right, and the problem is you have no limiter to keep it from doing that. That's why you just saw the left front wheel come up about 3 feet, and the right side never left the pavement, is because all that torque goes to one side.
And how you practice driving that is you go out on the lake and you drive your boat.
Oh, I thought you drove it kind of like Ace Ventura. You just stuck your head out.
Stick your head out the window. Good-looking little Corvette in the left lane. The 20 model out of Auburndale, Florida. Not in the show yet. That's Drew Archer. Right lane, Anthony Castellanos, number 49. Again, we're taking 64, splitting it 4 ways. The bottom field being 32. And any of these classes, you want to be in the top half so you can get lane choice. But like we saw last year, number 16 could come in and slay number 1 instantly, first round.
As a matter of fact, yeah, we talked about the fact last year that I think we saw more upsets than we saw number 1 cars. In the roll racing segment, only 1 number 1 car made it to the final. So being the number 1 qualifier isn't a guaranteed win anymore. You got to do your homework. And right now, that Lexus is going to work tracking that Corvette down.
Yeah, Castellanos in the right lane goes 582 to the 8th at 120 miles an hour. Out the back door in that McFarland Racing lane, 910. Left lane goes 11-12 and still not in the show. So right lane doesn't go any better. He was already in the show with a 908. That 910 does nothing for him. Number 49 still.
Now, Andy doing good as far as being consistent. I mean, that's good. So let's give him credit where it's due. The only bad part is that Corvette going a low 11 at 127. Again, not a bad lap for a C8, but he's going to have to throw a whole lot of bottle or something at that one, because you can't tune another second and a half out of that car, not unless there's something I'm missing. But, yeah, I mean, he's getting a run out here at FL2K. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but, yeah, you're going to need a whole lot of something. You're going to need a top fueler to give you a push.
And our starter just walked out there and reminded the right lane, Darnell Brown, that we are courtesy staging. Top bulbs lit. All bulbs lit. The little 370Z in the left lane driven by Brian Shemp. Neither one of these cars in the show. And Darnell Brown having problems down there shooting ducks. And the left lane, Shemp on a pass. Will it get him in the show? No, sir. That 1023 is a swing and a miss. Got to run faster than the 953 with a 4.
Darnell Brown, Subi, he's out of Gainesville. I've seen him at Gainesville Raceway quite a bit. That car has mid-9 second potential. He's just got to put it all together. 147 miles an hour. The problem is, as you mentioned, if the track is tight, especially with an all-wheel drive car, that makes letting go of the clutch even more difficult.
You got to rev her to the moon. You got to add RPM to that launch, maybe a little bit of boost, and let her eat and hope that it sticks. I mean, there's a fine line in there. Slicks like a little bit of speed. If you radio prepped a national event, none of those cars could get down the track because they're all on a slick. Some of these cars here are on a slick, some are on a drag radial, so it's kind of a pick the right tire and hope you made the right choice type deal. And you can swing back there to Mickey Thompson and get all the info you need on those Mickey Thompson tires.
Yeah, I was actually over there during our delay, and I was talking to Jason Moulton. We were discussing some of the new stuff, and they've had a whole bunch of racers going over and visiting them, and that's great because it means that we have the traction to match the action here. We're getting it taken care of. All right, attention to the bits, attention to the bits. I need Carolina Camacho. Carolina Camacho. Please come to the top floor of the tower and bring your ID with you. Carolina Camacho. Carolina Camacho. Come to the top floor of the tower and bring your ID with you. something I never thought I would say, man. Here comes our next Lexus.
Yeah, Johnny over here in the left lane and Justin Newsom in the right lane. And Johnny's on a pass. Your number 5 qualifier currently. He is in the show with a 745. What are we going to see down there in the triple law firm lane? 771 rolls off of it just a little bit down there on the big end. And Justin Newsom in the show with a 936. Slow rolling in the right lane, that Lexus. And look at that on this FloRacing replay, or not replay, but the top end. I'm not used to being able to see this.
I know, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, there are 8 people here from FloRacing. Chris at the front of the pack, dude, thank you so much for all the hard work you guys are doing. I mean, again, like you said, you and I are getting spoiled because this is a great view from the top of the tower. Look at all these grandstands, all these people that are out here.
That's amazing.
Hang on one second while we wait for our next burnout. Ladies and gentlemen, are you entertained? They didn't hear me. They were listening to the slapping pistons underneath the hood of that Mustang, which I would agree. Probably a good place. This is the Man's first ever visit to BMP
For FL2K.
Correct. Last year, we were a little north of here.
Yeah, we were up there in Gainesville. World-class facility, awesome place. Got the beautiful tower, got the everything, the giant pits everywhere. But here, FL2K home, the vibe is completely different. I'm sorry. And I love it, man. I love this vibe. This is my people. So let's get stick shift, guys. If you're not already down there, stick shift shootout, you should be in the lanes and getting ready because we're getting ready to wrap up our streetcar shootout classes. So stick shift shootout, you should be in the lanes ready to rock and roll. Third and final call. Here we go. Wheels up in the left lane for Nicholas Sammartino. He's already in the show, 57 at 928, and smoking him getting off of it right lane. Marcos Garcia lights up the boards with a 755 at 186 miles an hour.
That's a big move from 794. That is going to put him in the top half of the field, number 7. That is a big statement right there. Nicholas Sammartino kind of locking it down, 909. That gives him the number 55 spot. Based on the bump last year, man, that is right on the bump. Last year's bump was 908. So Nicholas, not safe yet, but looking good right now.
So Jonathan Lumen rolling up in this beautiful GT 500. I thought I recognized this car. This is Stephen Adcock's old hot rod. There's been some changes made on it, and he's changed some stuff. This is the one that lost the hood last night in the beams on that heater. Went 794 with the hood and the windshield.
That's right. If you want to see that, you can go to FloRacing and you can watch the replay. The interesting thing is the hood came off at the end, and normally when you pull up fasteners, this thing is going to flip up just like a flapjack, and in his case, it did something really weird. It slid, but it covered the entire windshield, so he threw the parachute, dumped the laundry out, and basically cranked her to a stop, and thankfully, all okay. I mean, he might have flat spotted the tires. That might have been the only faux pas, but he got real lucky. I mean, the fact it didn't bust the windshield and it didn't flip the hood up, he got lucky.
Right lane, Danny Hebner in the Liqui-Moly GTR. Leaves before the tree's activated, not going to get any info or get qualified because he's still on the outside looking in, and he hits him with the flashers as he drives by. 763 to 176, that's what it looks like when it doesn't have a hood on it. So he jumps up considerably at your number 12 spot currently, but where does he go on the ladder? All the way up. Ah, come on now. These buttons are too much for me.
He's number 9.
Number 9, okay. Jonathan Lumen coming in at number 9 with that 763. So Felix over here in the left lane, is that a BMW? No, it is a BMW, the 440.
He's currently not qualified, which means he may have made passes earlier, but they're just slower than the bump.
Yep.
So that's why it doesn't show up. If you're outside the 64, it doesn't show us. We have gotten some new entries today that are also double dipping in the index classes. So right-hand side is qualified, man. Where's he at?
Luis Castro is at number 14 with an 802 at 168. Again, 953 the bump. Let's see if the left lane Felix can get in. Tree comes down, and Luis Castro knocks the tires. And here comes the BMW stomping in his big black boots. And what is he just going to hang out with him? All right, we'll tell him you're coming. So still not going to get into the show with that pass, but He's in a car going down the track, and I guarantee you that is the best seat in the house. And looks like we're going to prep the track real quick for stick shift shootout. Stick shift shootout, you're on standby. Be prepared to get suited and booted as soon as we let you know. X Street. You're on standby to move to the lanes as soon as I let you know. X Street, please move to the lanes. We have not called you, but be ready to move. Have them backed out, have them pulled out, and already hooked up to the tow vehicle. And X Street, you need to be ready to move to lanes 11 and 12 as soon as I call you.
Winning doesn't just happen. You have to engineer it. You have to test it and make it better than it was the last time. Our engineers have the passion to create the parts you need, the way you need them to be, again and again and again. We've led this game for over 40 years, and we design, refine, and perfect every valve-train part worthy of the winner's circle.
We drive tech. We drive the industry, going beyond the limits and advancing forward. A versatile all-in-one solution. We're here for you every step of the way. And that's why you see Fuel Tech